Someone is controlling you right now. Not with force, not with threats, with something far more invisible. And the terrifying part? You've already felt it today. Maybe this morning, maybe 10 minutes ago. There are people walking around you right now, your coworker, your friend, maybe someone you trust, who know exactly how to rewire your decisions without you ever suspecting a thing. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is documented psychology used by interrogators, politicians, elite negotiators, and the most dangerous manipulators alive. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how it works. 5 tricks, each one darker than the last. By the time we reach number 1, you'll start questioning every decision you thought was yours. Let's begin. Trick number 5, the reverse trap. Tell someone not to and watch them do it anyway. Picture this. A manager walks into a meeting room. There's one person on his team who keeps pushing back, resisting every idea. Instead of arguing, the manager leans back and says casually, "Actually, this task might be too complex for where you are right now. Let's give it to someone else." The resistant employee sits up straight, his jaw tightens. "No, I can handle it." And just like that, the manager got exactly what he wanted, without asking, without convincing, without pressure. Here's what just happened inside that person's brain. The moment you tell someone they can't do something or shouldn't, a psychological response fires called psychological reactance. The brain interprets restriction as a threat to freedom, and it fights back, automatically, instinctively. You felt this yourself. Someone says, "Don't think about a red car," and you immediately picture a red car. Someone says, "This video isn't for everyone," and suddenly you need to watch it. That's not weakness, that's human wiring. The most dangerous version of this trick isn't used in offices, it's used in relationships, in negotiations, by people who have spent years learning that the easiest way to make someone move forward is to suggest they can't. Think about that. But here's what's unsettling. Trick number 5 only works on the surface level. Trick number 4 goes deeper. It doesn't push you. It doesn't challenge you. It quietly removes your ability to say no altogether. Trick number 4, master of choice. You think you chose. You didn't. Someone designed your options. A car salesman never asks, "Do you want to buy this car?" He asks, "Would you prefer leather seats or fabric?" Read that again. The question isn't if you're buying, it's what you're buying. The decision was made before you opened your mouth. This technique has a name, illusory choice, and it's one of the most quietly devastating influence tools ever documented. Here's how it works on your brain. When you're given 2 options, your mind immediately shifts into evaluation mode. You start comparing, analyzing, deciding between the 2. And in that moment, you completely forget to ask the most important question. Did I even agree to this in the first place? The frame was built around you, and you never looked at the walls. You see this everywhere once you notice it. Should we meet Thursday or Friday? Not if you'll meet, when. Do you want the basic plan or the premium? Not if you want to plan, which one. Pizza Hut or Domino's? Not if you're going out, where. Every time someone gives you 2 options, pause. Ask yourself who designed these options and what choice are they hiding? Because the most powerful person in any conversation isn't the one giving answers, it's the one controlling the questions. Most people never realize this. But wait, both tricks so far required words. They required a setup, a frame. Trick number 3 requires nothing like that. It works by using your own emotions against you. And once you see it, you'll recognize it in people you thought you could trust completely.
Trick number 3, the guilt trap. They didn't manipulate you, they just handed you a mirror. No confrontation, no accusation, no argument. Just one sentence delivered calmly, quietly, almost gently. "I understand. I guess I'm just not important enough for you to make time." That's it. That one sentence can dismantle someone's defenses faster than any argument ever could. Here's why. Guilt is not like anger. Anger makes people push back, argue, defend themselves. Guilt makes people fold. When someone feels they have hurt you, not told they hurt you, but genuinely feels it, something shifts inside them. They stop thinking logically. They stop defending their position. They start trying to fix the damage, even if they weren't doing anything wrong. The person who said that sentence didn't accuse anyone. They held up a mirror, and the other person looked into it and saw something they didn't like about themselves. Elite manipulators understand one fundamental truth about guilt. You don't create it, you reveal it. Everyone is already carrying some form of guilt, some sense of falling short. You simply remind them of it and let them do the rest. The most dangerous part of this technique, it feels like honesty, it sounds like vulnerability, and the person using it can do it with a completely straight face because technically they said nothing wrong. Now we're getting into deeper territory because the first three tricks manipulate what you think and what you feel about yourself. Trick number 2 goes further. It hijacks the very system you use to make decisions.
Trick number 2, the emotional hijack. Logic doesn't drive decisions, emotions do, and someone learned to drive yours. Here's a fact that most people spend their entire lives ignoring. You have never made a purely logical decision in your life, not one. Every major choice you've made, the job you took, the relationship you stayed in, the thing you bought, was driven by an emotion first. Logic came in after to justify what the feeling had already decided. This is not an opinion. This is documented neuroscience, and the people who know this, truly understand it, have a terrifying advantage over everyone else. Politicians don't stand at podiums and recite statistics. They make you feel afraid of what happens if the other side wins. They make you feel proud of your identity. They make you feel like something is being taken from you. And in that emotional state, fear, pride, anger, love, your decision-making brain goes partially offline. You stop evaluating. You start reacting. This is called an emotional hijack, and it happens in less than 2 seconds. A masterclass example? Someone wants you to agree to something you'd normally resist. They don't present the idea first. They spend 30 seconds creating an emotional context, a story, a moment of shared frustration, shared hope, shared fear. They get you feeling something. Then, at the peak of that emotion, they introduce the idea. In that window, your resistance is at its lowest, and most people don't even realize the window existed. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. You don't remember arguments people made at you. You remember how they made you feel. That's the weapon, and the people who wield it best never even raise their voice. One trick remains. No stories, no emotional manipulation, no clever framing, just silence. And somehow, it's the most powerful of all 5. Trick number 1, the power of strategic silence. The most powerful thing you can say is nothing. An interrogation room, cold, sparse, one investigator, one subject. The investigator slides a single photograph across the table, looks up, and says nothing. 10 seconds pass, 20, 30. The subject's eyes shift, his breathing changes, something tightens in his chest, an almost physical pressure building in the silence. At 45 seconds, he starts talking. He was never asked a single question. This is strategic silence, and what makes it devastating is not what it communicates, it's what it creates. Here's what's happening inside the brain. Humans are biologically wired to close open social loops. When a conversation hits silence after something significant, the brain interprets it as incomplete, a threat, an unresolved tension that must be resolved. So we fill it, we explain, we justify, we overshare, we confess things we never planned to confess, just to end the discomfort. Elite negotiators call it the golden pause. After making their final offer, they go completely silent. They don't clarify, they don't soften, they don't check in. They wait. And the first person to break that silence, statistically, gives ground. But silence does something else, something even more powerful. Think back to your childhood. When you made a mistake, your mother might have shouted, raised her voice, and somehow you could handle that. You argued back, defended yourself, explained. But your father? He just looked at you, said nothing, and your entire body went cold. That silence felt heavier than any word ever could, because it forced you to fill the space with your own guilt, your own fear, your own imagination. The most powerful people you will ever encounter in life are not the loudest in the room. They are the quietest. They speak less, they reveal less, they react less, and in that restraint, they communicate one thing above everything else. I am not unsettled by this moment. Are you? 5 tricks, 0 force, 0 aggression. A trap that used your ego against you, a frame that removed your freedom while making you feel free, a mirror that made you feel your own guilt, a hijack of the very system you used to think, and a silence that made you hand over everything you were holding. The most powerful influence you will ever experience will not feel dangerous. It will feel like a normal conversation. It will feel like someone finally understanding you. It will feel like a decision you made completely on your own, because it just made sense. The most powerful manipulators in history were never the loudest people in the room. They were the ones who understood one thing most people never bothered to learn. You don't need to control what someone does. You only need to understand how they're built and work with the architecture. So the next time a decision feels completely, naturally, effortlessly like yours, ask yourself one question. Was it?